Okay, I'm going to work through a problem, a cosine graph. Might be a good one to look at, where the amplitude is 8, as you see. Now, I like to put a little star here just to remind me that it's actually -8. So that means for cosine, I'm going to start down. If it was a sine that was negative, I would start at equilibrium still, but I would head downward first. The next thing we want to talk about is the period. And that's going to be, it's the normal period divided by b. So for sine, the normal period is 2 pi, and b in this case is this thing right here, the coefficient of theta. So it is pi, and this results in 2. Our critical distance, which I've instructed you to make this your x scale, is always the period divided by 4. So it's 1/2. So when I see that, every square is going to be a half. So that's a half. This is 1. This is 1.5. So I'm just going to start counting by ones. That gets me up to 4. Go out here, I guess, to 5. And -1. The y-axis, this is going to go from, the amplitude's 8. So I need to go up at least to 8. And I'm going to make that, I'm going to make this 8, so 4, -4, and -8. Okay, so since it's cosine, as I said, it usually starts high, right here, but it's a negative cosine, so we better start down here instead. I might try to make this a little bigger point. You can see it easier. And then it's going to follow its critical distance, and going from this pattern, minimum to a 0 to a maximum, to a 0 to a minimum, to an equilibrium, to a maximum, to an equilibrium, to a minimum, and on and on. And if we go backwards, it's going to do the same thing. So now when I'm ready to graph it, it's going to look like this. That wasn't great right there. Try to do that a little better. And I'm doing this on an iPad. You should be able to do it on paper, hopefully. Let's make it smooth. And try to make it go through all the points that we've noted. Let's finish it up on the left side, too. There we go. So that is -8. So to check yourself, you can see that my amplitude is indeed 8. I'm starting low. The period is 2, which you can see from here to here takes 2 full units, or from a peak to a peak, 2 units. I can see that the second period is completed by 4. So it looks like we have this right. Take these back off. So there is -8 cosine pi theta. Hope that helped.